Well, first of all, I must thank the organizers, Harsh and his team for ASCENT. This is, I think, is a great idea, a great concept. Um, I had not actually known much about it till Harsh asked me to come and speak here today. He did mention to me when he was going to start this, but somehow never paid so much attention. When it comes on to you, then you start to think who is the audience and what you're going to do. So then you go into details, and that is when you come to know more about details. So it's a really a great idea because when I was growing up, as she mentioned, that I started my career in '84. That time, I had to learn myself. And obviously, I mean, the topic given to me is how to make a billion-dollar enterprise. Nobody actually starts a career thinking that I will make a billion-dollar enterprise. Nobody, you start your career thinking to survive first, then you think that I want job satisfaction. Then you want to think that, okay, a little bit more, and then probably you grow. Because all of us are ambitious. This country is full of entrepreneurs, full of ambitious people. So we are absolutely in very exciting times and a very exciting country. We are really fortunate to be born in this country. So therefore, I'm extremely optimistic, and I think most entrepreneurs, I would say over 90% are optimist people, because that's why they put their risk money, and that's why they put all their money, whatever they have, in their businesses and grow it. So it's a great platform. You are, as the video was saying, that you can interact, you can make friends, and I made lots of friends during my journey. And I thought that rather than talking some sort of management lessons, the best way to take this whole discussion forward is to talk about my own journey, how I started, what I did, who helped me, and how I'm here today. Today, JSW Steel itself, which is my flagship company, is India's largest steel company at 18 million tons. It has a top line of $10 billion, and the other businesses put together is another $5 billion. So put together is about $15 billion is the group's overall, JSW Group's overall turnover. So now I'll go into the flashback and take you through. Well, friends, the journey started in '84, and I was asked to come to. I finished my engineering, got married immediately because my father said that the best way for him to start working is to get him married, because otherwise, he'll go after girls, and the girls will go after him. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult. Because I was a very good-looking young kid, so. So my father was always very worried about me, and he always thought that, so he immediately hooked me onto Sangeeta, my wife. She's going to join in, probably. She's gotten a little late. But we had a wonderful life, wonderful time. We worked together. She's smarter than me, and so she really guided me, and she really, from behind the scenes, she really pushed me. She really made me more ambitious, and now she wants me to slow down, and now I have become more ambitious. So now I'm beyond her. So that's the kind of problem. But yeah, life has been extremely good, and very enjoyed every part of it, every part of my journey, whether I went through difficulties or not. I really enjoyed it. I never felt this stress on me. In my journey of over 30 years, 33 years, I never felt a day when I was stressed. So when I wanted to build this big steel plant, integrated steel plant, which was the same size at that time, that of Tata Steel, I wanted to go and ask my dad. And Tata Steel was Jamshedji Tata, for whom we all think about, because he brought in the industrial revolution in the country, or he started the industrial revolution. So I was going to do something which is House of Tata did, and of the same size, and I was like nobody, but I had that ambition, that fire in my belly, and I really wanted to build an integrated steel plant. Why I wanted to build an integrated steel plant, I'll come back to you about that. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad used to live in Delhi. I was moved to Bombay. Why I was moved to Bombay, I'll come back to that. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I want to build this integrated steel plant. My dad was running a small mini steel plant at that time, and that's what I grew up seeing. And so, steel was ingrained in my system, in my blood, and I was an engineer. So I really and I was the only engineer in the family amongst four of us. We have four brothers. So my father said that, engineering is, a steel plant is not a kid's play. Don't be, my mother was also sitting there. And so don't get over ambitious. I said, no, it's not about that, but Dad, I really want to do it. He said, do you know the bad part of it, the difficult part of it? I said, okay, tell me. He said, you will get blood pressure, you will get diabetes, and you will not be able to sleep, and your appetite will go. Building a steel plant means you will lose everything. So are you prepared for that? I said, yeah, I'm prepared for that, but I can assure you that I'm not going to get nothing out of this. So he said, why do you say that? I said, no, I'm sure about it, because I'm not going to keep any stress on me. He said, then you can't build steel plant. So you will start a stillborn child. So I said, no, I will do it, but I need your blessing. Once I have your approval, I will work on it. So he said, well, I have my blessings on you, but I will not give you any money. And whatever business you have, if you can manage, and no guarantee from me, no personal guarantee, none of my money, none of your brother's money. If you can still do it, you can still work on it, then you do it. I have no problem. If one of my son is not successful, it's okay, So he had four, right? So he didn't care. So I said, okay. So then I came back to Bombay and started working on this project and everything. But before that, how I came to Bombay was that, I was in near Delhi, a place called Hisar, which is my hometown in Haryana. And my younger brother was already in business. My elder brother was in business. He was in Delhi. And my younger brother was already in business, managing the business in Hisar. And I came back from college, and I thought I was a very smart kid, and I was very enthusiastic, and I had studied engineering, stayed away 5 years from home in Bangalore. So I thought that I will go there and change everything and make everything like world class. But here there was no work, because my dad was there and my younger brother was running. So I used to sit in his room and read newspapers. And it went on for 3-4 months. Then I got married, and 6 months, and I got married. And I went to my dad. I said, I can't handle it. I need to. So he said, okay, will you go to Bombay? I said, you send me to any jungle, any forest, anywhere you want to send me. But I need some work of my own. And that's how I came to Bombay. And then there was this small plant in Bombay, which at that time had a turnover of less than 9 crore rupees a year, and had a loss of 3 crores. This I'm talking about 84, early 84. Loss of 3 crores, 25 lakh rupees a month. I remember my CFO, that time, not CFO, that time, whoever he was, he used to come and show me monthly, accounts. And when he would come towards my room, I could see his face, and I could make out that how much is the loss for the month. Because so he would come, and then I'll say, okay, we called him JD. So he said, how much? So from there only he said, my age, he also came with me from Hisar. Still he's with me, and very dedicated, committed chap. So he said, sir, 25 lakh rupee loss. And I had no money, and I hated to borrow money from my dad. So because because my dad had told me that you have to work hard yourself. If you do well, you expand. This is before the steel plant, mind you, 84, 85. So then, but I really worked hard and changed the product mix, and I did lots of things. I used to spend 16, 18 hours in the plant. Being an engineer helped me a lot, and changed the product mix and made friends with. We used to buy raw material from Steel Authority of India, the hot roll coil, which was in short supply. Steel was controlled product, and only 91, 92 got decontrolled. So this is 84, 85. So I used to get steel from, I made friends with the Steel Authority, the branch manager, and used to go to his house, have dinner, made his wife my best, like bhabhi, and really made good friends. He was a Sardarji, so I can speak Punjabi, so we would speak with him Punjabi, and then made friends. So he really, because I was so young, young age is a great advantage. It's a great thing, and everybody who is old loves young people. So therefore, whoever is young in the crowd must not take that as a negative, and don't get nervous. Go and meet whoever you want, because the older people, they love younger people. So therefore, it's a very important thing, and I used to go and sit and then take the delivery order from him for the next day, and go to the stockyard and pick up the material, get it loaded onto the truck, sit on the same truck and go to the plant, so that I could save money on that. And that's how the plant turned around and started to do well, but not very well, but I was okay. And when I was losing so much money, I used to drive myself. I love driving. Today also I drive myself. So I was driving, and Siddhi Vinayak temple was right there on my right when I would drive to the plant, which is on the way to Nasik. And I used to fold my hands and I used to say, Lord, please, I can't handle this loss of 25 lakh rupees, because then I have to ask my dad, and I feel very humiliated. I don't like it, I feel, so just stop the loss and that's it. I will be very happy. Sure enough, in a few days, in few months, the losses stopped. After 1.5 years, the losses stopped. I was very relieved, I was very happy, and things started to move up, started to look better. Then, typical human mentality, I became greedy and I started praying, God, इतनी मेहनत करता हूँ, थोड़ा तो profit होना चाहिए, ऐसे तो कैसे चलेगा? इतना थोड़ा तो चले. So then profit started, and things started looking better. Then I became more ambitious. Then I started going to the temple, and every evening, because I used to live in Worli, so every evening me and my wife would go and we'll attend the Aarti, and then I would pray, God, now I'm happy, but now I want to grow. So things started to look up, and that is when I got the courage to build the steel plant. So 91, 92, this liberalization happened, and 93, I prepared the project report, went to chairman, I got approval from my dad, and went to chairman of ICICI, Wagul. So went to him, and still very young, so went in, Mr. Wagul was probably 55, 56, so he was sitting there, and I went to him, and chairman of ICICI. I was a bit nervous, I was a little bit trembling, but went and sat there. So he made me comfortable. Very nice gentleman. I don't know if any one of you have met him, but extremely nice, very highly literate, fantastic guy. So I told him about this project. Excuse me. So he asked me that, son, do you know that what you are talking about, you are talking about building a plant which is the same size as Tata Steel. After 90 years, Tata Steel has come to this stage, and you want to build on day one that kind of plant. And mind you, that time my business, all the business that I was doing, was had a turnover of 250 crores. So in 10 years or 9 years, 84 to 93, 94, I had moved from 9 crores to 250 crores turnover. And profits were probably, I don't remember now, but maybe 10, 15, 20 crores was the profit after tax. So he told me that you want to build a 2 million ton steel plant, and that's the size of Tata Steel, and you want to set up a plant with 4,000 crore rupee investment with a base of 250 crores. So it doesn't match, the math doesn't work out. So I said, no, sir, but I'm very confident I'll build a plant which is better than Tata Steel and which will be far superior in technology. And he said, yeah, but where is the market? I said, no, I don't care about the market. If there is only 2 million ton market, then only JSW will sell. That time JVSL, Jisco will sell, and I don't care about anybody else. I was so confident that he saw this sparkle in my eye. And then finally he approved the project, and then I went ahead in building this project. And so that was one of my big risks that I took. But I had no idea of risk. Sometimes now in hindsight it sounds like a big risk, because a 250 crore turnover company building a 4,000 crore project is a huge risk. I mean, in today's times, it's not possible. Nobody can really think of that, and nobody will finance. But at that time, those were those development days, and ICICI and all were not full banks. They were what you call DFIs, Development Financial Institutions. So they had this philosophy and concept of supporting industries. So this project started, and we went in for. I was so passionate and so perfectionist. I wanted to set up a new technology steel plant. I had visited all the steel plants in the world, and whenever I went to a steel plant, I got a little bit overwhelmed or overawed by the size of the mammoth size of the steel plant. I don't know how many of you have been there, but I would urge you to visit steel plant or visit Vijayanagar steel plant. If you want to see a good plant, then visit Vijayanagar steel plant. If you don't want to, then see the other ones. So, but truly, it's a mammoth steel plant. It's 10,000 acres of land with 12 million tons, 12 million tons of steel production, and India's largest, and at one place. So I went in for a new technology. I had no idea about technology. I had this idea of perfection, an idea of making a steel plant for the 21st century, and new technology, which would be green technology, less impact on environment and stuff like that. So went for a technology which had just developed in Austria, and which was a replacement for blast furnace. Blast furnace is the main equipment in a steel plant, which makes the iron. Everybody had said, all skeptics had said that this plant will not work because this technology is too new and it's too green, completely green field. So, but I had, said that ignorance is sometimes bliss, as they said. So I had no idea what I was entering into, and I was building this big steel plant. So this codex, I had no idea, but unfortunately, the day we started, it had its teething problems, and it really, sure enough, had this trouble that everybody was talking about. And my share price, which was, I listed the company in 95 with oversubscription. 17 times it got oversubscribed at that time. But in 98, when we got into production, this problem happened, and the share price dropped to 2 rupees. From 10 rupees, which was the issue price, it dropped to 2 rupees. I remember Harsh, I was telling the other day, Harsh, that we were over dinner together in 97, 98, when the share price was 2 rupees. So he asked me, "Are you not stressed?" I said, "No, I'm not stressed. I'm a little sad that my shareholders are not very happy, but I'm not stressed." And he always used to, even today he asks me, "How do you handle so much? You don't get stressed. You are always smiling. What is the reason for that?" And I said, "No, that's my nature, that's my style, and that's about it." So I was not stressed because I was very confident that whatever I was doing I was doing fine, and I was making a world-class facility, and it cannot fail. I was super confident about myself. So we worked on this codex, as I said, had a failure as we started. There were two. So first one, when we started, had a failure. So we immediately started to rectify it, and worked day and night. I was along with, because for me that was my main plant, and my life was that. So I worked day in, day out. I was on the shop floor with my people, and made sure that it must come back very quickly. There was not much money, so I had to whatever I had to mortgage with the banks, and take that money to complete that plant, recomplete that plant. Because banks were also at that now. Then ICICI became very nervous, and because their shareholders started to ask questions about this investment in Vijayanagar steel plant. So then, after a lot of work, after 8 months, we restarted it, and and then it really ran successfully, because by that time, in that 8 months, we really we really oiled the machinery very well, and we could really come back. Now, while doing this, I have faced number of crises in my career, but every time I am hit with a crisis, the normal tendency is that people get depressed and people get demotivated, or they want to change their way of thinking. But in my organization, I always tell my people that whenever there is a crisis, there is an opportunity. So rather than get worried or get bogged down by the crisis, start looking for the opportunity. It is hidden somewhere, in some corner, under the table, or under your chair, or somewhere or the other, the opportunity lies. And that is what has actually helped my organization. My whole team, my top team, always tells me, who have been with me for 20 years and over, that that's the quality that our organization has, that we find opportunity in crisis, and that's what happened. Well, we started, and then the Asian crisis hit in 98, 99, 97. It started, and it went on till 2000, 2001. And the steel prices collapsed. So we were making steel now, but the prices were so low that we could not sustain. So I went to the banks, and the bank said, but we cannot help it. Our payments to the banks had started, and the repayments were started. And now, we were paying them delayed payments, and there was delay payment penalties. So the interest rates, which went up to like 20, 24%. So again, it became very difficult. And, one thing which I forgot to mention, that luck plays a very important role in anybody's life. We can always say in hindsight that I'm very smart and I built this steel plant. I've become the largest steel producer in India and maybe one day in the world. But it's all depends upon luck and timing. There was this very nice book by Malcolm Gladwell about outliers, about the timing, that, when you were born, which is not in your hand, of course, but like, for example, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they were all born at the same time, within like 2 years of each other. And therefore, they were at the right time, at the right place to build these computers. Somebody was building in his garage, somebody was building in the garden, whatever. And today, those are the big companies. So the timing and the luck plays a big role. So for me, also the same thing happened. There was this meeting called in Bombay. That time, BJP was in rule. And Jaswant Singh was the finance minister. Not Yashwant Sinha, Jaswant Singh. So Jaswant Singh, so this meeting was in the Taj, and there was all industrialists, about 15 of them were there. I also sat at the corner, because I was, I was the, let's say, the most, I was the one who were not paying interest on time or repayments on time. So I went and took the chair at the last, as a backbencher. And when my turn came, everybody was complaining about high rate of interest. That time, interest rates had dropped about 8, 9, 10%. Everybody wanted below 7%. And so I said, sir, I'm sorry, everybody is talking about high rate of interest at 10% or 9%. I'm paying 21, 22%. So he got a shock, and he looked at the chairman, SBI and ICICI, and they nodded their heads, because I was meeting them every week. So, my another style was that I would not shy away from meeting my lenders, my bankers. I would go every month and call on every bank when I was in difficulties. So then he said, okay, you join me for lunch on the round table after this meeting. So I went and sat there. Then he said that, okay, let's have we had a little discussion. Then he said, okay, we'll have a meeting in Delhi. And that is when CDR was formed. I went to Delhi, all the chairmen of the banks came to Delhi to Finance Ministry's office, and the CDR was formed. Then I was the first one to sign the CDR under, everything. And then I was the first one to come out. Within 1 year, fortunately, 2003, the steel industry revived, and I was in full production at that time. And we revived, and we paid 100% debt to the banks immediately and refinanced. So therefore, we brought down the interest rates. And since then, I have not looked back. Never again we over-leveraged ourselves. We became a little conservative, and then we continued to grow in a very solid state rather than taking too much risk, because the times were changing and things were becoming more open, and therefore all the DFIs became banks. So therefore we then switched to this mode of growth. Of course, my people in the organization, my CFO has played a very important role to hold me back. Because entrepreneurs have this big negative, because we are very positive people. We are all the time thinking that, oh, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do that, and so therefore we are willing to take that risk, and we are willing to take that bigger risk. So I did take, but now my CFO is a professional, so he always tries to pull me back and hold me back. And I'm very open to the ideas, and so therefore it really helps if you're open. Your colleague is your colleague. He is not your employee. So if you think like that, then organization works very well. So thereafter, we never looked back, and the industry grew in step by step, and today JSW Steel has come to this level. So this is kind of my journey. Let me see what else I have. Another thing that we at JSW Group are very good at is that our cost of project, when others in the world, the thumb rule is $1 billion for a 1 million ton steel plant. That's the thumb rule. Even in India, if you look at what the other steel companies are doing, the good steel companies are doing in India, is $1 billion for a 1 million ton. That itself is a very good number. We do it at less than $500 per million ton. So which is like less than half the cost, our capital cost. And steel industry is very capital intensive. All my businesses are capital intensive, because either you are too bright, you have too much knowledge, you are very academically very bright guy, then you can go into things which is low capital cost, like Mr. Harsh Mariwala, he doesn't spend too much money and build a big business. And for me, it was always hard work and passionate about. Of course, he is very passionate about his business, but invest big money and then build the business. So that's the entry barrier to steel industry. Big steel industry is big investment, whereas other businesses, entry barrier is your intellect. So steel industry, you don't need too much intellect, really, but you need more money. So that's why this is. So we build at a very, very, very low cost. So when I was growing up, Jamshedji Tata, who built Tata Steel, was my role model. JRD Tata I met later on, but when I was 84, 85, going back again, to learn now, you have this ASCENT to give you some learning. You can hear, successful entrepreneurs, which is a great platform. But at my time, I did not have the fortune of ASCENT. And so therefore, what I used to do, I used to go and attend the AGMs of Tata Steel, of Hindalco, where JRD Tata used to be the chairman. And I used to be a young guy. I used to just go and sit there in one corner and just look at the chairman, Dhirubhai Ambani. And every year I would, as a ritual, I would go and sit in the AGMs and just watch them, just observe them. What is their reaction? Dhirubhai Ambani will react to the shareholder. If some shareholder got up and made a complaint, he would react very vehemently. JRD Tata, Aditya Birla would be very quiet and just making a note and everything, and till the end of the. So there's such a big change. Aditya Birla would reply very calmly. Dhirubhai Ambani will react very vehemently, and JRD Tata will not even reply, nothing. He will just note down till the end of the AGM, and then he will say, my CFO or my company secretary will take care of all your answers. So complete different things. So, it gave me a lot of, as a young kid, I learned a lot from these stalwarts of Indian industry. And and that's how I learned. So Jamshedji Tata, when he was building the steel plant, there was no drones, there were no satellites to tell you where what mineral is, and he could find the best location in the world to build Tata Steel. Tata Steel is located in Jamshedpur, which is right close to the iron ore, right close to the coking coal. There cannot be a better site in the world to build a steel plant. So I really wonder that in 1890 or 1895, when there was nothing, people were walking on foot, how did Jamshedji Tata manage to find such an amazing site to build the steel plant? And that really that's why I really think that Jamshedji Tata was a real hero for me, so, and because of that. Before I close, I thought I will touch upon, Sangeeta is also here, so I'll touch upon the CSR activities of the group. Of course, group is, Sangeeta is leading a lot of CSR activities, but before that, I mean, that is one thing, but what thing which is very close to my heart and which I'm taking up a large project is rebuilding of Kedarnath. I don't know how many of you know about Kedarnath. Kedarnath is the temple in the Himalayas in Uttarakhand at the height of 11,500 feet. It's a Shiva temple built by Adi Shankaracharya. It has a lot of mythology attached to it. In 2013, there was a big deluge, and the whole lake, which was upstream of the river Mandakini, burst because of the cloud burst and the landslides, and glacier fell into that. And more than 5,000-6,000 people died. Whoever were there at that time staying in those shanty town died. Typically in India, our pilgrimage sites are not well organized, not well managed, except for a couple of them like Tirupati Balaji or even it'll come to me another one. And but otherwise, most of them are very badly organized. Kedarnath was no exception, but I think it was Lord Shiva's wish that clean it up. So he literally cleaned it up except for the temple. The big rock came and stood behind the temple, and which saved the temple, and everything else got washed away. So when I went there, I felt that, the same thing which I was mentioning, how to convert this crisis into an opportunity. And I came out of the temple and I said that I have to build this whole town, rebuild this whole town, and rebuild in a beautiful manner. So that's my life's ambition now, that I'm going to really work to rebuild this whole town of Kedarnath, and Sangeeta is really helping me design it because she has the right eye for design and everything. And but she says that it's too difficult a place for me to go, so you go and build it, but I will give you support from the back. So therefore it's my project. So in conclusion, friends, I have jotted down some points. That one is that we have to dream big as entrepreneurs. As I mentioned, that India is a land of opportunity. We have 1.3 billion people. Everybody is, wanting more and more, and therefore, sky is the limit. So you have to dream big. You cannot think small. Start small, but think big, and then take it to that level. And I think I must appreciate what Harsh is doing in Ascent, and his team is doing, helping all the entrepreneurs to scale up. I think this is so important because not only you will grow, but you will employ so many more people. You will give better products to this country at lower costs. So you have to dream big. Second thing, as I mentioned, that enjoy what you do and do what you enjoy. You don't have to stress yourself. You must not stress. That is absolutely must, that no stress. I mean, it's easier said than done. I mean, not everybody is probably like me who can leave the stress in the office and come home and enjoy and go to the club, play, and stay fit and everything. I mean, I believe that in a big way that, both Sangeeta and I, we have spent all our evenings at the club playing. She plays badminton, I play squash, and we really enjoy. We walk at Marine Drive, every evening or at Worli Sea Face, wherever we really enjoy, and there is no stress. Nobody calls me ever, nobody sends me any real messages. So I don't get detracted at all after I've left office. So therefore, because most entrepreneurs have this habit of taking too much work at home, and then wife is all the time, thinking poor chap is working hard. So, instead of that, leave everything in the office. So, and don't bring stress home. And health is very, very important. I think in my life, I have given health the maximum priority. First priority in my life has been my family, because I've always, I believed in enjoyment, and obviously you enjoy most if you are with your family, with your kids, with your wife. So I have, all the journey, last 33 years, we have been together. We have every plant visit, she would take care of the townships, and I would take care of the plants. And the kids would always be with us on the weekends. Now, of course, they are married, so they've flown away. But till they were there with us, we were together. And the second thing is that we have always believed in maintaining our health, and very disciplined, and enjoyed every moment. So friends, I hope I have given you some insight into what I've been and what I am. It's been a completely true experience that I've shared with you. And once again, I would like to thank Harsh and his team for inviting me here. Again, on the timing matter, interestingly, Uday, who is a dear friend, Uday Kotak, and me, he is a little bit older than me and started a little bit earlier than me, but both of us started at the same time, and our journeys have been same. He was a Mumbai wala, I was not a Mumbai wala, I'm from Hisar or Delhi wala, let's say. So therefore, he has done a little bit better than me, but as far as market cap is concerned, but both of us started and grew at the same time. He's kind of getting to the pinnacle of the banking sector. I have already reached the pinnacle of the steel sector within India, the largest. So therefore, it's been a great journey, and timing has played a very important role, because we were there when the country was changing. We were there when the liberalization happened, when the delicensing happened. So I was the first one to jump in. There were others who also jumped in. SR jumped in, Ispat jumped in along with me, or a little bit earlier than me. But probably they took some wrong calls, and I was lucky that I was not, and I had better guides. My father was a good guide. And so that's how the journey ended. Our journey is going on in a good way. So once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me.